Not what I'm good at. All right, we're recording. Here we go. We're going live, baby. So, to me, the needs analysis starts right after you say what we're going to do now is examine the important reasons why people obtain coverage during different stages of their lives. Boom. You hit the insurance video. And you guys can have your scripts out with you. I encourage you to have your scripts out with you right now. I ask you questions. I don't give a shit if you know the answer off the top of your head, but as long as you can give me the answer, I'm happy with it, okay? After it plays the insurance video, we say, and I'm going to tell you guys a story. I'm going to involve all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you, and I'm going to interchange you throughout the story. So I need you to follow along with what people are saying and kind of follow along with the numbers through it, okay? So David, the reason why we sit down with each family separately, Maddie, is because each family's wants and needs are different. So Omri, the family I sat down with before you is different than yours, and Devin, the family I have an appointment with after, have different needs as well. So what we do, Tyler, is I'm going to customize a program that fits your family's exact needs, okay? Now, Robert, I do have a few questions just to see what those needs may be and what you may qualify for, okay? To me, that's the start of the needs analysis, right? And then from there, I'm sharing my screen. I'm at this page where I need to fill out this information for the AL Plus Health Services discount card to move beyond this page. So I need an email, I need a phone number, I need an address, okay? So now I've done a rapport, I'm doing some small talk. I know the spouse's name is Francis, same last name. I might be talking like, okay, maybe I didn't get the birthday, it's March. Look at them, they're weird. They got the exact same birthday. Just a year apart, isn't that cute? And they have a kid. Omri, no offense. I always, this is my goddaughter, so I use her name. It's Amari as well. When the hell's her birthday? Coming up. July 24th, 2019. Perfect. So if there's more kids, you put more kids in. If they have more than 3 kids, just add a kid. Does anyone have any questions about how to fill out this information here? No? Pretty straightforward. Okay. And then after that, what do I say? I just said I have a few questions, you know, David, to, let me see if I can make you guys bigger over. I can see everyone. Yeah. I'm missing someone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did someone leave me?
It probably doesn't all fit on the same strip.
Let me get you a little bit bigger so I can get all 6 here. Here we go. I got you all on here now. What do I say after that? So I do have a few questions to see what you may qualify for and what those needs may be. I fill that information out and I say,
there are 2 things every member needs to qualify for our programs.
David, there are 2 things that every member needs to qualify for our programs. One being that you are a member of the IAM District 4 and that you're in fairly good health. Tyler, there are 2 things that everyone needs to qualify for our programs. One being that you were referred by David, who is, you know, in a union. And the second is that you're in fairly good health. Now, Robert, there are 2 things that anyone needs to qualify for our programs. In this case, you've been being sponsored through the WillKit program and that you're in fairly good health. Maddie, there are 2 things that anyone needs to qualify for these programs. One, that you've been sponsored through the Child Safety ID program and that you're in fairly good health. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
The first reason is why ever the hell they're there. You can manipulate that to what presentation you're doing. I just gave you a WillKit, Child Safe, referral, and a union. Okay? And the other reason is what?
That you're in good health.
You're in fairly good health. So I do have some questions pertaining to your health, Devin. And these questions, I do not want to ask in a leading way. I don't want to get the answers I want to get out of it. I don't want to say, no, Robert, you don't have cancer, right, do you? That wouldn't be good. What am I insinuating? I don't want him to have cancer. And I was like, no, I don't have any cancer. That's fine. So I want to ask these questions in a non-leading way. David, does you, your wife, or your child have any internal cancer in the past 2 years, whether that be breast, colon, pancreatic, uterine, any form of cancer?
No, sir.
No. Tyler, do you, your wife, or your child have insulin diabetes?
Nope.
No. Maddie, does you, your partner, or your child have any cardiovascular disease, whether that be heart attack, stroke, peripheral vascular disease?
No.
No? Okay. I may ask a question here. You don't have to. Now, Devin, do any of those things run in your family?
Nope.
Your parents, uncles? No? Oh,
Maybe one of my uncles might.
your uncle had a heart attack, your dad had diabetes, your grandmother had some form of cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that important? I'm just wondering to know if that's something that you might be a little bit more susceptible to through your genetics.
Right.
That is something to think about. I'm not going to make too big of a deal on it. I'm not going to say get insurance now because you're going to get cancer in 10 years. That's not the goal of it. It's just to ask them the question so they start thinking, okay, this is something that afflicts my family. Maybe I need to think about this a little bit more urgently right now. Moving on. Now, Robert, are you currently using any supplemental oxygen? I put the word supplemental in there because I don't want the stupid idiot men in the house to say, yeah, every day I use oxygen. Don't need that. So are you currently using any supplemental oxygen?
Nope.
No? Okay. And Amory, do you, your partner, or your child have any terminal illness?
No.
No. Devin, is there anyone in the family that has Alzheimer's? You, your spouse, or your child? No. Now, Robert, have you or your spouse? I'm not going to ask for a child. I'm not going to ask for anyone under 18 if they smoke, because they're under 18, and that's not what we look at for them. But do you or your spouse or your partner use any form of tobacco in the last 12 months? And again, I qualify this more, whether that be cigarettes, cigars, chew, sniff, vaporizers, tobacco, hookah, and any form of nicotine or tobacco.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Now, when it says exclude from application, I never really put anything there. To me, that has to do with if I'm sitting down with Tyler and Maddie's already a policyholder with us, and she has insurance, but they just got together and she wants him to get it. Yes, she's there, part of the conversation. She's already told me I am not getting any more insurance. Do not offer me any insurance. I'll punch you in the head. Then yeah, I'd be like, oh, okay, Maddie, great idea. I'm not going to look at anything for you. But either way, I'm going to normally see what the computer generates as an option for people. Okay. I've never used this, but you might have to use it someday. Now, Maddie, are you currently on probation or parole?
No.
No. Okay. And David, have you ever been arrested or convicted of a DUI?
No.
No. Okay. Now, there are a couple questions on here that will automatically exclude them from being proposed life insurance options, okay? If they've had cancer in the last 2 years, if they've had a heart attack recently, if they're currently using oxygen, if they have a terminal illness, and if they are currently on probation or parole, we cannot insure them at this time. So I use that moment to politely say something like, no, David, I understand that you are in the middle of battling cancer right now. I do want to let you know we won't be able to help you any further with any insurance programs for you. I'm polite about it, but I am also going to use it for him to help other people he knows. That being said, I know your wife and your kids, and you had mentioned your two brothers earlier. This is something that I can talk to them about before, God forbid, anything like that afflicts them as well. I'm not using it to grind it in. I'm not using it to say, you've got cancer, give me people. But I am saying this is something that, we can take a look at once you're in remission of it, maybe in 2 years. We can take a look at covering you then. But right now, if you do know people who think this would be a good value to their lives, and a good protection program for their family, then yeah, I am going to ask him for those people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just because people can't get life insurance doesn't mean they don't want other people to be protected with it. If anything, I found they want people in their lives to get it before they can't as well. Okay? So I've gone through those questions. Now I do myself a favor here, right? How many questions are there in the needs analysis?
Like what, 15?
7.
7.
Okay, I think so. Does your script have 15 or does it have 7?
Oh, on the script, my bad. No.
Yeah, you guys have your scripts.
7.
No, these aren't hard questions, people. If you have the script right in front of you, you should be shouting them out at me. 7, perfect. I need you to know the questions with your eyes closed in a dark room with a weird thing buzzing at you. If I say, Tyler, what's question 4? In 3 seconds, I want to say, Anthony, do you rent or do you own your home? If I say, Amari, what's question 2? I want you to say, now, how much life insurance do you have through your work? And no matter what they say, follow it up with, nope. What do you follow it up with? What is it? How much life insurance do you have through work? Yes or no? Okay, just as a reminder, that's a policy that your work owns and controls. It is a group policy. You know, so when, not if, but when you are laid off, when you do decide to quit and change jobs, you know, when you become disabled or when you decide to retire, that's a policy that stays with that job. Now, it's great that they give it to you while you're working, but it does pay out less than 1% of the time because, you know, in all honesty, most people don't die on the job when they're working. Most people die later on in life outside of work. So the important insurance you have is the insurance that you own and control on your own, right? If I say, Maddie, what's question 7? In 3 seconds, I want you to say, now, do you do your banking locally with a checking account or a savings account, or do you use a credit union? Okay? You want to know those 7 questions, and you want to do the same needs analysis in every single house you're in, whether they already have insurance or not. And I'm going to challenge you to do it in every single house you're in for the first 40 to 60 presentations. Okay? You might find a better way through your managers to do it. I'm not saying do it my way. Sit down with your direct managers. If they have a little trick to it here or there that they find more successful, do it one-on-one with them. Have them do it for you. You do it back for them. Get good at it. But when you're learning this, this business, people, do the same needs analysis in every single house. Why do you think that is?
So the repetition gets in your head.
Repetition becomes experience. We need to know where you're doing things right and if you could be doing things better. And if you're doing things right, awesome. We're going to say, let's keep doing that. But I mean, I've sat down with agents where I've heard their needs analysis and they say one thing in the same house and I'm like, that is exactly why you're not protecting families. Get rid of that one word and let's see what happens. And they got rid of that one word and their closing rate went up 20 points. It's like, okay, so that's why I want you to do it the same in every house. So we can help you make it better or encourage you to keep doing it as well as you're doing. Does that make sense? Okay, there are 7 questions in the needs analysis. Question 1, David, what is it?
It is.
Yeah, 6 of them are on the page, people. 6 of the 7 are right in front of you. So it's not hard to forget them.
What's you and your spouse's monthly take-home pay after taxes?
What's you and your spouse's monthly take-home pay after taxes? Now, when I click this box, what does it say?
Cannot be greater than 10,000.
Monthly income cannot be greater than 10,000. And when I put in 900, what does it say?
Must
Can't be
at
less
least
than
1,000.
1,000.
Can't be less than 1,000. Listen, folks, it's my business to help families, to help every family I sit down with. It will never be my business to ever hurt a family, okay? So that being said, if people are only bringing in $300-400 and their bills are more than that and they're really upside down, I'm doing a good financial needs analysis with them because I'm trying to get them back on track. In all honesty, financially, I might not be able to protect every family. Someone might. Someone who's better than me might be able to protect every family. I might not be able to protect every family right now. Okay? I might get better. I will get better at it. But if people are making $600, $700, $800 a month, believe me, we have programs that will work for them that will help them protect their family. Okay? So I would still put a minimum of $1,000 in there. Okay? Now, if they make between $1,000 and $10,000, put the amount they make in there. If they make over $10,000, why do you think that it wants to see families less than $10,000? We are a company that helps hardworking families. We generally help paycheck to paycheck families. There are families out there who make 15, 20, 100, $1 million a month. In all honesty, we are not the company to fully protect them for all of their needs. We're the company to protect them for part of it, their final expenses. But I'm not protecting someone's income who needs 5 years of income protection at $6 million. The premium is going to be astronomical. I'm never going to want to write that deal. And in all honesty, they're going to find a better program for term coverage with someone else. I'm going to hook them up with a different company that can provide that. But I will still look at insurance that helps them take care of the upfront costs of final expenses, funeral coverage, and some, few months premium while it takes the other company 2 to 6 months to pay out. We'll be there to protect them right away. Okay? So I'm not looking at more than $10,000 of their income. Does that make sense to people?
Yep.
Okay. So Robert, what's your monthly take-home pay after taxes?
3,500.
3,500. I'm writing it there, and I'm writing it in here. Guys, girls, everyone get a field journal. Everyone. Okay? It's good for you to go back and look at what you did, write down questions, write down little quips you hear from people, things you want to add to your presentation, things you read in a book, whatever you need. Get a field journal. But you also want to write things down. I'm not just doing this on a computer. Sometimes I'm doing this in someone's house. And when I'm doing this in someone's house, I'm not showing them this needs analysis. I'm also not showing them this needs analysis the entire time. I'm showing it to them for part of it, but part of it I'm going to backtrack and not show them, okay? Because I don't want them to see everything I'm doing. So I'm writing down $3,500 in front of them. Look, I'm a human. I'm here to help you. I'm doing a needs analysis. I'm actually going to use my brain and do work for you because that's my job. I'm the professional here to help you figure out what's going on with your finances and where are there gaps where you might need coverage. Okay? Maddie, what's your monthly take-home pay after taxes?
$2,000.
$2,000. All right, I got it in there. $2,000. Perfect. Devin, question 2.
How much life insurance do you currently have through work?
Devin, how much life insurance do you currently have through your work?
1,000. 1,200.
50,000? Awesome.
Sure. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. And Amari, how much life insurance do you currently have through work?
20.
20,000. Perfect. Okay. So I put it in there. I show them that. I write it down here. I show them it. And I say, Tyler, just as a reminder, that is a policy that your job owns and controls. It's a group policy. So when you are laid off, when you are downsized, when you do become disabled, when you decide to quit and change jobs, or when you decide to retire, that's a policy that stays with the job because they own it. Now, it's great that they give it to you while you're working, but, statistically, it pays out about 1% of the time because, in all honesty, most people do not die when they're working on the job. Most people die later on in life outside of work. So the important life insurance you do have is the life insurance that you own and control on your own. And I will delete that because I just killed it right then and there. And I will cross that out on my page in front of them, scribbling out the life insurance they think they have protecting their family. Okay? Now, if they're working in 2 weeks and they die in a week, is that life insurance there to protect their family? Yes, some jobs. Some jobs you actually have to die doing the work, which is completely different than if you just have it through your work. No, some jobs it's there to protect you while you're working. Let me ask you this. How is the job market in the last 3 months? Are people just getting jobs left and right? No, what's happening?
People getting laid off, furloughed.
People get laid off, furloughed, benched in unions. People are losing benefits in this company like you wouldn't, in this country like you wouldn't believe right now. Okay? So let me ask you this. Maddie, Devin, if I sat down with your family today and you told me you had $20,000, $80,000, $1 million of life insurance through your company, And I said, awesome. I'm so glad you got that coverage. Great job. And I left. And in 2 weeks from now, you lost your job. What do you no longer have now?
Life insurance.
Did I do my job, Maddie, to protect your family?
No.
No, I did not. So I'm putting 0 in that box because I don't care what they have through their job. If they die when they're working, awesome. Not awesome for them, but awesome they have that extra coverage in place to supplement what they own and control on their own, which is portable and permanent for them. Okay? So I cross it out or I leave zeros. Now I'm going to tell you these next 3 boxes right away. We have 3 major programs of protection we have for people. We have our whole life program, which generally protects funeral, final expenses, and any like kind of legacy they want to guarantee leave behind for their family. We have income protection to protect their income. We have mortgage or rent protection to protect their mortgage or rent. All right. We have other products. You'll learn about those in later classes. I know maybe Matt Hodlin or Jeff. No, Jeff does a proposal. I think Matt Hodlin or Mike does a products and rates class. It's an awesome class. They're great at it. Pay attention to everything, write it down. I mean, we have child's education. We have 20-year term. We have all these different products. You will learn about them. But for right now, for the sake of your script, for the sake of what we're doing, we're kind of focusing on 3, okay? The whole life with the freedom of choice, the income protection, and the mortgage protection, okay? Mortgage or rent. So right here, the whole life box is going to take a look at their whole life freedom of choice. The term life box is going to determine what we feel they need for income protection. And this box down here, the rent or mortgage box, is going to determine what we recommend for rent or mortgage protection. Does that make sense? Okay. So whatever we put in these boxes is going to deduct the amount of what we're going to recommend. Does that make sense? Okay. So this first box, between the ages of 18 and 59, if they have a certain amount of income, it is going to recommend $30,000 in whole life. Okay? So if I put $10,000 here, what is it going to recommend them now?
20,000.
Excellent math. If I put 25,000 here, what is it going to recommend them now?
5,000.
5,000.
Perfect. I'm glad we're all on the same page. Okay. Question 3 is a doozy. It's a wonderful question. Do it well and do it right every single time. Okay? Question 3, Tyler. Don't ask this question here. Do not ask, do you have life insurance outside of work? What does a do you question get me?
Yes and no answer.
Yes or no? I have to ask more friggin' questions. I'm not here to waste people's time. I'm here to value their time. I'm not valuing it if I'm wasting it, okay? So how much life insurance do you own and control on your own outside of work?
10,000.
10,000. David, how much life insurance do you currently own and control on your own outside of work?
I do not have any outside of work currently.
Okay, David. And why is that?
I figured I was covered by my job, so I didn't deem it necessary.
Okay. So, I am a licensed professional. This is one of the reasons why we work with the unions and we work with all the members, so we can go over these programs and educate you on how they can be beneficial. Okay? Hey, hype yourself up when you get a chance. Okay. That's why I'm a professional.
Okay.
That's why I'm here to sit down with you and go over these programs. Okay? Say that 2 or 3 times. I'm a licensed professional. This is why we're contracted with your union to speak to the members to make sure they fully understand how these benefits can, in fact, benefit them. All right? So you said 0. Now, it probably says in your script, is that term or whole life? Does it say that?
Yeah.
I don't care if it's term or if it's whole life. I'm not going to ask that question personally. I'm going to put it in the term life box. Okay? I'm going to put it in the box that takes a little bit of money away from their income protection. Okay? Because how long am I protecting their income for normally?
5 years.
5 years.
3 to 5 years. It all depends on what's comfortable for them. 3 to 5. We're going to recommend 5 years if they can afford it. 3 to 5 years. Okay. I'm comfortable to believe that that $10,000 will pay out to them sometime in that 3 to 5 years. Okay. In all honesty, it should pay out in about 1 to 6 months. That being said, do people know how long it takes most life insurance companies to pay out their policies to their insured?
6 months.
6 months before there's legal issues that come up. But it's usually 1 to 2 to 6 months. They don't have to pay you that money. Okay. Robert, if you die tomorrow and you leave a grieving widowed wife and a child behind who do not have $15,000 to $18,000 for your funeral, you had the income in place that was helping your family, do you have the right protection in place with that $10,000 policy from another company?
No.
No. So I'm not going to put that in my funeral protection, final expense, instant upfront protection. That does not make sense to me to hurt a family like that. And again, it's never my business to hurt a family. It's my business to help families. So whether they have whole life with a different company or term life with a different company, I don't care. I'm putting it in the term life box because it's important to me that they have the money when they need it up front in that 1 to 2 days, which our company does. Is there any question why that does not make sense to everyone here? Good. Does everyone understand that? Awesome. So I got 10,000 and I have 0. That's fine. So what I'm going to do now is what? What does it tell me to do in question 3 after I ask that question? Do I stand? Do I jump? Do I lay down? Look at your script and tell me what it says we do.
Itemize.
We sit, right? I made a terrible joke that no one got. We don't stand or lay down or jump. We sit. We spend it, we itemize it, and we build the timeline for the insurance they already have. And you know what? I'm sitting whether they have 0 insurance or not, because I want to know what kind of financial problem and burden they're going to place their family in without insurance, okay? So spend it. How do I spend it? I ask them a question. And I know it says in your script, if you were to die tomorrow, David, what would your family need to use that money for? To me, that's not specific enough. I want to ask a more specific question. That question's fine. It's tried, true, and tested. I personally want a more specific answer, so I ask a more specific question. I say, Robert, apart from final expenses, if you died tomorrow, what would your family need to use that $10,000 for on bills? I even say, what bills would your family need to use that $10,000 for?
All my debt and credit card debt. And
Credit card debt? Okay. So not even like monthly bills, just credit card debt?
Yeah, monthly bills as well.
Okay. So I got exactly the answer I want. What bills? He said, he might say, my monthly bill is my credit card debt. Awesome. Now I know that. If he says, oh, geez, car, mortgage, rent, utilities, I'm like, awesome. So this is where I differ, okay? So you can write these 2 different ways down. I was taught this, and it worked for me for many months very successfully. Break their bills down into 5 different bills, right? Number 1, utilities. What's your heat, hot water, gas, electric, whatever utilities you have, all costs together. 2, communication. What is your cell phone, your Amazon, your cable, all your communications put together? 3, cars and car insurance. 4, groceries and food. And bill 5, miscellaneous things. Things you don't plan for. Extra coat, clothes for the kids. Dog get hit by a car, you got a vet bill. You got a crazy significant other who likes to get their hair and nails and feet done every 2 weeks, like scratch tickets, cigarettes, booze bags who spend a lot of money, like whatever the miscellaneous stuff is in their life, okay? Those are the 5 bills. Does that make sense to people? I break down those 5 bills. I come up with a number that kind of encapsulates all the money they spend every month to maintain their lifestyle, right? And I use that number against the $5,500 they're bringing in together as a family union, okay? Now you can do that in every single house, and you can be successful doing that in every single house. And I want to be very clear about this. I found in a select few houses, doing it that way made my job more difficult, because I would find sometimes people's bills equaled or exceeded their income coming in. What did I do in the mind of that person if I found that out by doing their bills?
They don't have the money to pay for the life insurance. It's already paying out for all the bills.
Close, man. It's not that they don't have the money. It's that what?
They don't have the
spend it.
priorities.
They don't think now they have the money. Okay? I'm sure there's things you can cut out of all of your lives that is wasteful money. And let me ask you this. Has any one of you ever heard of something called a credit card?
Yeah, one.
Me too. I've heard of it too. A lot of people tend to live above their means. Okay? That does not mean this bill won't become the most important bills, because it would help protect their family from keeping up with all those other bills when they've lost that person in their life. Okay? So that's why I moved away from that a little bit. Okay? That's a very successful way to do it. If that's the way you want to do it, do it. Absolutely. Does that make sense to people? Let's say I did it that way and I found out that their bills came to $4,000 a month. Okay? $4,000 a month times 12 is 48,000. Timeline, first person here, 10,000. How long could they protect their family for with that insurance they have in place?
Couple months.
2.5 months, right? 2.5 months to be exact. And not even the first 2.5 months, because they might not even have that there. It might come a little bit later. Is 2.5 months enough for someone to transition away from the loss of you and your income?
Not at all.
Nope. It's probably someone's first idea. Maddie, if you lose your partner, probably not your first idea to go out and get a second or third job to have to make up for the bills. It's probably your idea to mourn, grieve, celebrate the life, take some time to yourself, the time that you need, that emotional time you need to actually physically and emotionally put yourself in a position to move on with your life. You're not going to want to go out and get a second job, third job to help pay the rent, pay the car, do all these things. Okay? So timeline it. 2 months. Great. This person, how much time has they protected their family with? 0. They don't have any life insurance. That's okay. I'm a licensed professional. I'm here to help you understand how these programs can benefit you. Okay? So what I do now is a little different. Okay? So we're going to restart question 3. How much life insurance do you currently own and control on your own outside of work? We got 10,000. We have 0. Okay? I asked the question, Maddie, outside of your final expenses, what bills do you want that $10,000 to be there for? And whatever you tell me, awesome. It's specific. And then I asked this question. Okay, Devin, how much does it cost your family on a monthly basis to maintain your lifestyle? All those bills together. I just ask them. I want them to do some quick math and just give me a number. On a monthly basis, how much money does it cost, all those bills, everything to maintain your lifestyle?
Probably like $3,000.
$3,000. Okay. Now I got a number. $3,000. Okay. Now I know I'm protecting this family with life insurance today because they're bringing in $5,500. They're giving out what they think is $3,000. They're actually paying more. And I do that on purpose because I know they lowballed it. It's not my business to hurt a family. So I will give them money back. And I'm giving them money back in a way for them to understand that I'm here to help their family. okay? And I'm not here to hurt them in any way. And I'll explain what I mean by that right now. 3,000. Okay, I understand that. Now, Tyler, I know you said 3,000. I'm sure that there are things you missed here and there. So it sounds like you're saving about $2,500 a month for your family. And they're going to say, ooh, I should be. I'm like, that's okay. It's okay. We have lifestyles. We have fun things we want to do. We want to provide things to our family a little bit, beyond the normal average life. So what I'm going to do for you is this. Let's say, and I give them money back. I shrink the gap. And whether that gap is $2,500 or whether that gap is $500, I'm going to give them some money back. Okay? The way I do that is, so Tyler, let's just say you and your partner had a little bit slow month at work. Your bosses came in and say, hey man, we got to cut your hours back a little bit. So you guys didn't bring in $5,500 that month. You only brought in $5,000. Okay? So what did I just do? I just put $5,000 back in their pocket. Right? I just made them feel comfortable. And that's their mental pocket. They just got $500 back of that income right there for them. Okay? And on the other end, I'm going to say, and Robert, let's say, it was a brutal February up there, wherever you live. You had to buy an extra cord of wood. You had to crank that oil up. Dog got hit by a car, rough month. So your bills weren't $3,000. It was closer to $3,500 that month. Okay? What did I just do on the other end? I gave them back another $500. Right? So how much money did I just give this family back?
$1,000.
An extra $1,000 in comfort, mental comfort, right? I don't even want to look at that. I want to take this on, I want to do this based on kind of a rough month working and kind of a rough month with your bills. Okay. And again, if it's $500, I'll give them $50 back or $100 back on each end, but I will give them something back just to make them more comfortable. And again, I pretty much guarantee you, unless they know their bills down to a penny, they lowballed their answer in the first place. Okay? So I want them to understand that they do have more bills. So I'm going to give that back to them. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Does that not make sense to anybody? Okay. So I still have a gap now of $1,500. Folks, I am never going to write a policy at this company for $1,500 a month. If I do, punch me in the face. That would scare the crap out of me. I like to write my policies somewhere between like 80 and like 160, 200 bucks. All right? I don't want to ever come close to $1,500 a month. So again, I know I'm in a position where I'm going to help protect this family. Or more importantly, I'm going to get them out of their own ways so they make the right decision to protect themselves. Okay? So that's how I do it. I don't ask the 5 because I get a number anyhow. I get a smaller number and I give them money back to get the same exact number. But now they're way more comfortable that they have more money, that more value in their emotions and their mental state to feel like what I'm going to come up with is going to be important to them and it's going to be affordable to them. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So I get that number. And then again, I'll timeline it. I'll take I'll take the high number. I'll take not the 3,000, but the 3,500. And I'll do that in the bills. And I'll come up with that. And I'll do the timeline for the 10,000 and the 0 and let them know just exactly how much insurance they do have in place and how much protection they have in place to protect their family from those monthly bills. Does that make sense? Are there any questions there? Okay. Now, there's one thing, and I'm sorry I didn't do this before. I want to backtrack. Before I start with my financial questions, and I'm sorry I didn't say this earlier, I do want to preface that I'm going to ask financial questions for them. I do this to save myself the effort later on and to cut out any doubt that someone's going to say, I can't afford it. I never want to hear at the end of a presentation when I show someone a premium, I can't afford it. The way I don't let that even happen is before I ask this question, I say something along the lines of, hey, David, Maddie, I do have a couple financial questions for you. I do want to do a needs analysis, financial needs analysis. And the reason I'm asking is, again, it's in never my business to hurt a family. It's only ever in my interest in business to help a family if I can. So I do want to kind of figure out where your finances are so I can find a program that makes absolute sense that will fit in your budget. Okay? I might not make it that wordy. I might say, Robert, I do have a couple financial questions. And again, that's only because it's not in my interest ever to hurt a family. I'm only here to help you if I can. So I want to make sure I find a program that does fit in your family's financial budget. Does that make sense? And I want to have them say, yes, that makes sense before I get into the, sorry, I should have said that before. Not everyone does it. I do it. I think it's great because that they've already understand now that I'm doing everything I can to find something that makes sense to them financially. So when it gets to the end of it and they tell me they can't afford it, I could literally break out laughing at them. I won't, but I'll be like, okay, well, let's just go over a few things. I understand where you're coming from, but let's go over a few things as to why you can't afford it. Okay, so I go through that. Question 3, done. Question 4. David, what's question 4?
Do you currently rent or own your home?
You currently rent or you own your home? Great question, David. Okay. Now, do I have any single people on this call? Okay. Do I have any single people who live in apartments on this call? You all own your own houses?
I live in my mom's house still. I'm only 23.
Okay. So, technically, do you pay rent?
No.
Okay. Robert, you own your own house or a condo
No,
or something?
I live at home, but I pay rent.
Okay, pay rent. And Amari,
I pay rent.
you pay rent. Okay. So, but you're single. Do you guys have any dependents? Any kids?
No.
Okay.
Thank God.
So, Robert, I'm going to ask you this. You can be honest. You don't have to be honest. I don't care. Does your family depend on your rent,
Yes,
or does it just kind of help you keep you accountable?
they depend on it.
They depend on it. Okay. So this doesn't have anything to do with you. This has more to do with David and Amari. Now, Amari, do you have a roommate?
No. I live
Okay.
alone.
So I'm going to be straight up with you people right now. Single human beings with no dependents and no roommates, I don't need to get them mortgage or rent protection. No one is dependent on it. The landlord's just going to fill the apartment. You know what I mean? Now, if you have a roommate and you don't want to leave him hanging, sure, you can get something to protect him for a year or so. It'll cost you like a nickel, like very cheap. Robert, in your case, if your family depends on that money, I would absolutely talk to you about protecting that, because I'm sure you wouldn't want to put your family in a financial situation where they're now struggling without you, correct?
Correct.
But I'm not going to do mortgage and rent protection for everyone. Now, if you are in Robert's situation, or you're renting a place with a significant other, or you have a kid and a significant other, do I want to get them protection to continue to still be able to live there? Absolutely. Absolutely. So the way I do that in the form of rent is this. You can't add numbers here for rent. So if they rent and have dependents, and we're going to look at that, I have to put it under own anyhow. Okay. Does that make sense to people? That allows me to, let's say, Maddie, you and your partner, your rent's $2,000 a month. So that's, what's math? 24 grand a year. For 5 years, you're talking $120,000. You want to put something in place so they don't have to worry about moving out for 5 years. Great. $120,000, 4% interest for the 5 years. Got it? Done. Now I've put something in place to protect the rent for 5 years. If you're like, yeah, maybe not for 5 years. Maybe I want to protect them for like 3 years. Great. 24 times 3. Awesome math. What's that? 72,000. 72,000 for 3 years. Awesome. Great. Does that make sense how I can still protect the rent for them? Because in all honesty, people, some people live in apartments their entire lives. Those apartments aren't just apartments. They're their homes. Just because you die in an apartment doesn't mean you want your family forced out of the home you have. The memories you built there. Like the special, like that's where your home is. You don't want to force someone out of that. So we can absolutely look at protection for rent for them. Now, as far as mortgage, it's the same thing. Generally, mortgage is a little bit higher. So I asked this question. Does anyone own a home here? Okay, pretend you own a home, Maddie. Now, do you currently rent or do you own your home?
Oh,
I own it.
Okay, and now I ask them a question, and I do it to make them feel just a little bit stupid. And it's not to be mean. It's just I want them to recognize something that's more of the truth, okay? And that's this question. So, Maddie, do you rent or do you own your home?
Own.
Okay, so you don't have a mortgage, you've paid it off already?
No.
Okay, so you own a mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the question. I want them to remember, no, I have this friggin' wicked important bill. That's my New England coming out. Wait, I have this very important bill that helps my family live in this home. Okay? I own a mortgage on my home. Okay? So I asked that little question. Oh, Tyler, do you rent or do you own your home? No? Great. So you have your mortgage paid off and everything? Oh, no, okay. So how much left do you have on that mortgage, Tyler?
200,000.
200,000. Now, do you have a normal interest rate of average about 4%? Did you get lucky in the threes?
I got screwed. I got 6.
6%. Lucky guy. You should refinance. It's a great time to refinance right now. And how many years left do you have remaining on that mortgage?
18.
18. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so now I've asked that question, right? I've got my numbers in. Folks, in all honesty, if they can afford it, it's going to recommend them how much mortgage protection for the primary insured.
200,000
Why is it going to offer them 200,000?
to pay off the exact amount when they die.
Because that's what they have left on the mortgage. Again, that comes down to if they can afford it. Based on these numbers, based on what it wants to do for their whole life, what it wants to do for their income protection, it might not recommend a full mortgage protection, but it may. And that's what the computer's there for, to generate, because we only look at a certain percentage of their income to determine what's a financially viable within their budget program. So if you see it come up, say it's recommending $2,000 or no, $200,000. You have none, but we're going to cover you for like $112,000. All that means is that's what makes more financial sense to them right now. Okay? Don't get confused. If you see, 5 years of income protection is $250,000, but only offers them $172,000. Just know that's because they're not bringing in enough income to, at a financially responsible budget, protect 5 years of their income. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. So right after I asked that question, what's my next question?
do you have insurance to pay off your mortgage in case of death?
That's what it says here. And that's the basis of my next question. I want to be a little bit more particular about it, David. But I thank you for telling me what it was. I would say something more like this. Now, David, do you have a separate life insurance policy to take care of that rent or to pay for that mortgage? And then I would look at the significant other or Tyler, would you have to come up with that money on your own to take care of the rent or mortgage?
They would have to come up with the money on their own.
Okay. All right. And I'm not going to press them there, but I ask them, do you have a separate life insurance policy? What's the importance of asking, do you have a separate life insurance policy? It's all right if you don't know. I can tell you.
Because the one through work they don't own and control.
Yep, that's a good answer. They don't own and control it. More importantly, this product is a different program than this product is a different program for this product. Okay? Again, this freedom of choice, they're going to do whole life. The income protection, they're probably going to recommend a 10-year RNC. Okay? That's a 10-year renewable and convertible term. And for the mortgage protection of 18 years, more than likely it's going to recommend a 30-year decreasing term. If it's 15 years or under, more than likely they're going to recommend a 15-year decreasing term. Okay? Because you don't need to protect your mortgage forever, and you don't necessarily have to protect your income forever, because someday you might be retired on a fixed income that's going to come in whether you're alive or dead. You're not going to have dependents. So these are programs that they're not going to have to pay forever. So we're not going to bulk them all into like a whole life program that's there to protect them forever. Does that make sense? So I want them to think, crap, I need a separate life insurance policy just for that? Yeah, because financially it makes more sense because it's a different product to protect a different gap you have in your coverage or your lack of coverage. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So then I might ask this, you know, with $10,000 here or there, I might not do this. Let's just have fun here and put $100,000 in here. Now, Devin, you do have $100,000 here. How much of that would you want to, and this is a question I had, okay? If they don't have life insurance, excuse me, sorry. If they don't have life insurance, I will say, now, Devin, you do have $100,000 here. How much of that would you want to allot to just straight pay off some of that mortgage to help, you know, reduce monthly payments or whatever you want? Would you want to use any of that to pay it off?
Sure.
Okay. Now, how much would you want to use that to pay off? 50,000, 75,000, the whole thing?
Probably like 50,000, half of it.
50,000. Okay. Now, I do not want to confuse people here. Okay. If I'm going to put $50,000 of this into here, I'm going to take $50,000 off here, but I'm also going to take $50,000 off here. Okay. That's going to recommend them $50,000 less in mortgage protection because they already have $50,000 going towards a mortgage protection. Okay. But what is that going to recommend here? $50,000 more in income protection. Because what they already had protecting some of their income is now being directly allotted to their mortgage. So it's going to recommend them $50,000 more here. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Going back a little bit further, let's say they were at $100,000 to start and their bills were $48,000 a year. How many months do they have their bills covered for? Just a quick timeline real quick.
12 months.
Yeah.
Just
Well, if they had 100,000 at first.
if they had 100,000 at first.
Yeah, if they had the full 100,000 here, before I take it, they had the 100,000. Let's say they have $50,000 in bills a year. How many years do they have their bills covered for?
2 years.
2 years. So my timeline on that is how much? 2 years of you have protected. Awesome. But if I'm going to allot 50,000 of this right away to that, I'm going to do a new timeline. I'm going to say, okay, if I do that, yes, your bills might decrease a little bit, but really you only have about one year of protection for your family. Okay. I want them to understand that when I go into 3 to 5 years of protection later. I want to give them the timeline where they're at now. Okay. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Does that not make sense to someone? Okay. And Armory, right here, save for your child's college education. If you leave this blank, it's going to recommend if they can afford it, up to $100,000. Excuse me. David got me that time. Up to $100,000 for each kid. Okay. It's going to recommend the primary insured to have an extra $100,000, probably in a 20-year term, to protect their kid if they died, to leave $100,000 behind for education. Now, I was trained to do it this way, so I'm going to train you to do it this way. For your first 40 presentations, put $1 million in here. Okay? It's not going to recommend children's education. It's a different proposal. It's a different video that pops up that you might not be familiar with because it's not on your presentation. Now, if your direct manager says absolutely do not put $1 million in there, and absolutely offer them that if they can afford it, then absolutely do it that way. That's why I want you to sit down with each and one of your direct managers, see how they do it, have them do it to you, have you do it back, and find the best way that they want you to do the needs analysis in every single house. Okay? I'm just telling you my needs analysis for my direct trainees when they start. This is how I do it. Okay? Put $1 million in there because I don't want you getting lost in your presentation, losing focus, and getting confused and making it look like you kind of don't know what you're doing until you know what you're doing. And it takes about 40, 50, actually it really takes about 100 presentations to see pretty much anything and everything you're ever going to see in this job. when it comes to a presentation, not leadership and other things, but presentation. So for your first 40, I recommend put $1 million in there. It's not going to recommend that extra little chunk. Okay. And I wouldn't even ask that question. Okay. And the final question, Amari, what is it? Question 7.
Do you use a checking or savings account?
Do you use a checking or savings account? Why is that an important question?
Because if they don't have any, then we can't go
Sorry,
on. With
was that a little louder?
If they don't use a checking or savings account, we can't do anything right now.
Well, yeah, good question. I mean, good point. Yeah, I'm not going to insure someone who doesn't have a bank account. I mean, they might have like a green card, something with a routing and checking number on it. Great, I can insure them. They have their name tied to some sort of account, but I'm not going to trust someone to mail me cash every month. Are you crazy? With my business and my retirement, my renewals, I'm not going to trust that. Hell no. I will drive you to a bank if this is what you want, and I'll help you open up a bank account. And if you tell me you're one of those people like, I don't want the government to know how much money I have. Awesome, Tyler. That's fine. I don't want them to know how much money you have either. But if this makes sense to you and you see the need for it and you want to protect your family, what the premium comes to be, why don't we do this? We open up an account. You put the premium amount in there every month. You keep the rest of your money hidden under your willow tree out back or under your, your fire safe box in your basement. I don't care about your money, but put that in there so we can get this protection in place for your family. Okay. I've helped people. I've driven people to banks, helped them open their bank account before. It makes sense. They want it. And they're just like, yeah, I just don't have a bank account yet. Okay. Well, that's crazy, but let's fix that problem for you. Let's get you back on track. But yeah, if they don't have a bank account, if they don't have a routing or checking or savings number, I'm not insuring them. Okay. Are there any questions about that? No. Okay. So folks, that's the 7 questions of the needs analysis. Okay. Does that make sense to everyone? All right. Now this isn't really going to let me do this because I've already put numbers in, but I'm going to do something new that I normally don't do. And I'm actually going to do the needs analysis for you right now in a fluid motion, okay? Because I know I brought a lot of shit up here and there, but I actually want you to see what it looks like. You got to give me about 1 minute. I got to refill my water. I'll be right back. What does it say? That's awesome. You are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm on a recording right now, Ms. Canducci. All right, I'm back. Ready?
Yep.
But that is brilliant. I am going to now just do the needs analysis, not the entire needs analysis. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do the entire thing, but I'm going to do the health questions and from there. Okay? What is it? 10:07? Let's see how long this takes. Now, David, do you, your spouse, or your child have any internal cancer in the past 2 years? Breast, colon, pancreatic, uterine cancer?
No.
No. Tyler, you, your significant other, your child have any insulin diabetes?
Nope.
No. Madeline, you, your partner, your child, is there any cardiovascular disease issues, heart attack, stroke, peripheral vascular disease?
No.
No. Now, Devin, do any of those things, have they afflicted anyone in your immediate family?
Yeah, my grandparents.
Your grandparents had that? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now, Amari, are you currently using any supplemental oxygen, you, your spouse, or your child?
No.
No. Now, Robert, do you have a terminal illness?
Oh,
Does your spouse or your child have a terminal illness?
nope.
Tyler, do any of the 3 of you have Alzheimer's?
Nope.
No. Maddie, have you, your spouse, have used any form of tobacco in the last 12 months, whether that be cigarettes, cigars, chew, sniff, hookah, vaporizers, any of that new fandangled kid stuff?
No,
No? Okay. Now, David, are you or your spouse currently on probation or parole?
No.
No. Okay. Devin, have you ever been arrested or convicted of a DUI?
No,
No. Has your significant other ever been arrested or convicted of a DUI?
not that I know of.
No. Okay. Now, Amari, I am going to ask you a few financial questions to you and your spouse right now, and that's really because, you know, I'm not in the business ever of hurting a family. I'm only ever in the business of helping them if I can. So I do want to make sure that I do know a little bit about your finances. So if there is a program that makes sense, we can absolutely make sure it's within a responsible financial budget for you, okay? Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, Amari, what's your monthly take-home pay after taxes?
4,000.
4,000? Okay. And Tyler, what's your monthly take-home pay after taxes?
About $2,000.
2 grand. Okay. So it's about $6,000 income together? Okay. You guys kind of split the bills, everything like that? You put in the effort you need to put in there?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, David, how much life insurance do you currently have through your work?
$100,000.
100,000? Okay. And Maddie, how much life insurance do you have through your work?
50,000.
50,000? Okay. And just as a reminder to you two, those are policies that your jobs own and control. They are group policies. So, you know, Maddie, when you are laid off, or David, when you do become disabled or downsized, Maddie, if you do decide to leave that job and quit, or, you know, David, when you two decide to retire, those are policies that will actually stay with the company because they own them. Now, it's great that they give them to you while you're working. It really is. But they are policies that pay out 1% of the time or less because, you know, in all honesty, most people don't die while they're working on the job. Most people die later on in life outside of work. So the important life insurance that you do have is the insurance that you own and control outside of work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, Tyler, how much life insurance do you own and control on your own outside of work?
I have a $20,000 term policy.
$20,000. Okay. Great. I'm glad you got something in place already, man. Using your brain. And Devin, how much life insurance do you currently own and control on your own outside of work?
I don't own any.
You don't? Okay. And now, Devin, why is that?
I've never never thought about it.
Okay. Well, I am a licensed professional. This is why we are contracted with your union, so we can make sure we can touch base with all the families and make sure they are educated on the programs we have that could be beneficial to their families, okay? Now, let me do this. Tyler, if you were to die today, apart from final expenses, what bills would your family need to use that $20,000 for?
Everything, utilities, electric,
Okay.
cars.
All right. And now, Robert, you know, on a monthly basis, how much does your family spend to maintain your lifestyle? Like everything bundled and all those things you were just talking about.
Probably 3,000.
3,000? Okay. So I just
Maybe
want
a
to
little
be
bit
I just want to be on the same basis with you. You guys got about 6,000 coming in, but it sounds like you got about 3,000 going out. So you're saving about $3,000 every month. Does that sound fair? Or maybe we miss a couple things?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay, awesome. Good job, man. What are you saving for?
House.
Good idea. Job market's great right now. I talked to some guy earlier, though. He needs to refinance. He had 6% interest rate. Poor fella. Okay, so you know what I want to take a look at, though? I'm sure we might have missed something here or there. And, you know, sometimes you probably take your family out an extra time a week for fun movie night, dinner. Maybe you grab a pack of beer with the boys on a Friday night. You know, maybe your wife has this terrible issue with scratch tickets and getting her nails and hair done. So I'm sure you need a little bit of extra money here and there. What I want to do is this. Let's say, you know, Maddie and David, you do have that $6,000 coming in, but let's just say your both bosses on the same month came to you and they said, you know what, we got to cut a couple hours back. So that month you didn't get paid that $6,000. You guys only brought in about $5,500. Okay. So I want you to have that extra $500 just in extra support. I don't even want to take a look at it. And then on the other end, Devin, Amari, let's say you got that brutally cold February. You guys are living up in Maine. You had to buy an extra cord of wood. You even got so cold you had to turn on the heat a little bit yourself. Car broke down, need a new tire, AAA, all that good stuff. You had a really rough month. So instead of $3,000, let's say that month cost you about $3,500. Okay. So again, I want you to have that extra $500. So I'm going to put that extra $1,000 aside. I don't even want to take a look at it because again, I want to find something that makes sense on the worst month of your life financially and bill wise. Okay. On that worst month, I still want this to make sense to you financially. Does that make sense, Maddie?
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, let's take that worst month. You got about $3,500 there in bills, $3,500 times 12 on that worst month, about $42,000. So, you know, you put that all together for the worst year you ever had, you know, you're going to have about $42,000 in bills. Okay. Now, Tyler, you got $20,000 in place. So if I do my math on that, I'm not going to be too exact, but it kind of looks like you have enough protection there. Again, that was a fluke crazy month. I'm not going to add it all up. You've got about 6 months of insurance protection in place for your family. Okay. Now, Tyler, what do you have after that?
Nothing.
What was that?
I don't have anything after that.
Okay. And why is that?
I thought that was enough.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you have something in place, man. Not like you're ahead of the curve. Not everyone does. But again, I'm here for a reason. I'm a licensed professional. My company, we're contracted with a union just so we can speak to each and every family, just to make sure they fully understand the position that they're in, and if there's anything that we can help them do to protect themselves. Okay. You do have that about 6 months there. Now, Maddie, do you and David, do you own or do you rent?
We own.
You own. Okay. So your mortgage is paid off?
No.
Oh, you still have a mortgage? Okay. What do you have left on that mortgage?
200,000.
200,000. Okay. Now, David, did you get an average rate like the rest of us at 4? Did you get lucky? A little unlucky? What's your interest rate there?
Got good credit. I'm at 3.
3. Awesome. Good job, man. What's your credit?
875.
It doesn't go up that high, but that's good. Good job, man. You gotta tell me how to get there. And how many years remaining do you have on that, Tyler?
Got about 15 years.
15 years left. Okay, perfect. Now, Amari, you do have $20,000 here. Okay, you got the $200,000 for 15 years. Now, Amari, let me ask you, do you have a separate life insurance policy in place to help take care of this mortgage if you were to die today? Or
No.
Devin, would you have to come up with that money for the mortgage on your own?
I think I'd have to come up on my own.
Okay. And is that the plan, to just kind of shift the bills onto you?
I'd probably have to sell the house and relocate.
Okay. Well, I don't want you to have to do that. Now you do have $20,000 in place, Tyler. Would you want to allot any of that to just, directly help with that mortgage at all?
No, I think we'd need it all.
You wouldn't want to use the $20,000 to that at all?
No, I think we need it for that 6 months.
You would need it for that 6 months? Okay. All right. Perfect. Now, Maddie, let me ask you, do you and David, do you do your banking locally with a checking or a savings account, or do you use a credit union?
Checking.
Checking account?
Account.
Awesome. Great. There it is. 9 to 10 minutes, the needs analysis. Okay. Now, one thing I didn't do when I first did it, but I just did then, is no matter how much insurance they have already in place, I don't care if you have 12 years in protection already for your family. I'm going to ask you, Robert, what do you have in place after that? Why is that?
No idea.
And if you say, dude, I got 12 years already protected for them. Like, that's a good answer. I already have 12 years. And I might just follow up with, Robert, I completely understand, man. That's great. I'm glad that you have that 12 years in place. But then I might elbow him a little bit and say, now, but is that the goal, to protect your family for only the 12 years? Or, you know, if you do have the means for it, would you want to have protection for them for longer than that? Who's going to say no to that? Someone's going to say, fuck them, throw me in the garbage can out back or bury me in a hole out back. I'm saying, yeah, that's a $10,000 fine here in New England, but that is an option, and it comes with repercussions legally for the people you're leaving behind. So not only is that burden, but now they've got legal issues. But that's one way to look at it. Like I'll be straightforward with them like that. But no, you're gonna have people like, no, dude, I got plenty. That's plenty. That's plenty. That's plenty. That's plenty. And that's like, okay. Like I'm not gonna twist people's necks to sell them life insurance. You'll read your crowd. You'll know. But you're gonna have people, if they can afford 12 years of life insurance, guess what they can afford?
8.
15 years of life insurance. You know what I mean? And they might just ask them that question. Robert, I'm glad you have that in place. You've done a really great job. You know, what do you have in place after that? Nothing? Okay, why is that? Because I thought 12 years might be enough. Okay. Now, if you had the ability to, would you want to protect your family for longer? And his answer is going to be yes. So then I will just look at something for him. Does that make sense? So yeah, no matter what they have, I'm going to ask them, great. Now, what do you have in place after that? And when they say nothing or what, I'll say, now why is that? And then I'm just going to tell them something. Does that make sense to everyone? Does anyone have any questions at all about the 7-question needs analysis? No? Was it better for you to actually see me do one instead of just talk through it so you could put it together? Good. I'm going to start doing that. Thank you for being my my little guinea pigs there. Now, on top of that, I'm going to stop this recording. How do I stop this recording? Stop share.